what's up, it's Natasha and welcome back to today's video. Today I am doing my November TBR. It's strange saying that, but yeah, I'm doing the second last TBR of 2022. So I'm very itchy on the back of my what? Okay. Anyway, if you hear random noises in the background, my dog just climbed on the couch. Now she's thriving. Okay, so if you guys are excited for this video, please leave a like, subscribe, click on the notification button next to the subscribe button because I'm currently doing Vlogmas, and if you don't want to miss any of my videos, you will be notified once my videos are uploaded. And without any further ado, let's just jump right into the video. So I didn't read a lot of books this month. I think I read, let me just remember, 5. I mean, it is a lot, but you know, for me, after my October wrap up, I was just like, okay. So the first book I read was A School for Good and Evil, and this book I gave a 5 out of 5 stars. It's a middle grade book about two characters, Sophie and Agnes, and Sophie wants to be a princess. She's adamant that she will become a princess in the future, and Agnes is her kind of like, how can I say this very nicely, she's her charity friend, because there's this school in the woods or somewhere where it's either the school for good or the school for evil, and if you are good towards the people around you, you get placed in the school for good, and it also counts your looks and everything. And then you get the school for evil if you look grungy, and like Agnes's sake, if you are raised in a graveyard and everyone just calls you witch, then you might as well just land in the school for evil. So the day comes where Sophie and Agnes are dragged into the school for good and evil, and unfortunately there's a mix-up. Sophie lands in the school for evil and Agnes lands in the school for good. Now they are trying to prove to the headmaster that there was a mistake, that they need to switch places, and the only way they can do this is by solving a riddle that the schoolmaster gives them. And you follow them on this journey where they try and solve this riddle and try and live through the riddle, because the riddle has an action that they need to do. So once they figure it out, they realize that there's an action involved in it and they have to follow up on that action. And then later down the line, you just discover that not everything everyone always told you about, if you are pretty, you are good, and if you are ugly, you are evil, kind of thing. It plays a lot into the book. That is basically the premise of the book. But what I can just say is I love this book so much. I could not put it down. My fiance was watching rugby and I was just sitting in there reading, non-stop reading. And I finished that book, I think, in like 3 days. It's a very thick book and I'm sure a lot of you can finish it in 1 day because it's an easy read. I didn't, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. There's also a lot of magical elements involved and I just enjoyed the writing style. It is so pretty and I can't wait to dive into the next book because I really want to know what happened, because it just ended on such an abrupt cliffhanger that I was like, I need the second book now. And the second book was on special on Amazon, so I bought the ebook because why not? Then I read Alone with You in the Ether by Olivia Blake, and this was sent to me for early release by Pan Macmillan and Annette Galley, and I had such a hard time choosing between this as my favorite book and The School for Good and Evil as my favorite book. But essentially I went on star ratings, and School for Good and Evil is my ultimate favorite book for November, but Alone with You in the Ether is a close second to that. I gave this book a 4.7 out of 5. I remember saying in one of my videos I gave it a 4.5 out of 5. No, I gave it a 4.7 out of 5. This basically just follows two characters somewhere in Chicago, and we get Reagan, who is this bubbly person, and she's one day she's like this, the other day, so there's no way in knowing how she will react to everything. She's very, what is the word I'm looking for? Spontaneous. And you cannot just keep up with her. Then on the other spectrum, you get Aldo, and he's the guy that lives much like in a box. He has set ways in doing things, and he has times and places where he goes where, you know, it's just routine wise, he just likes routine. And when these two meet, it's like a clash of different worlds together, and it's a contemporary romance, but it's also classical literature. But I really enjoyed this book. The way Olivia Blake explains the first half of their relationship is just so heated that I felt ashamed reading this in the confinement of my own home. I felt my cheeks heating up for Reagan's part, and I just thought, wow, this is an amazing book. And then when we got to the first part where Reagan and Aldo finally realized that they like each other and that they, have this thing for each other. The part is called First, and it's the first in their relationship. Everything first. The first time they sleep together, the first time they cook together, the first time they go to whatever place together, and it all just rushes towards you as a reader. And I remember saying in my review, it just felt like everything just comes tumbling towards you and you're not sure what to expect. But then I remember with my relationship, with my fiance as well, it was just a tumbleweed of stuff happening. The first time we went to the movies, gone so quickly. The first time we went to the botanical gardens, it just rushes through you, and before you blink, it's gone. So that's basically the idea I got about it. I was unfortunately unhappy with the ending because it was quite a fade to black ending, but I can tell you I did not expect the ending to happen the way it did. I really thought the worst thing was going to happen, and I'm not saying good things happened at the end. I'm just saying it was that, oh, I did not see that coming. And that is what I love and always wanted in a romance book, not to know what the ending is going to be. And yeah, cannot praise this book enough. Well, yay! The next book, oh boy. The next book was an ARC I received from Book Sirens. It's called The Firefly Champion, and it was written by Amy Marashi. Listen.
You have my curiosity.
I am not going to tell you how I feel about this book because if you've seen Monday's video, you will see how much I rant about it. I'll also link it up here. I just did not like this book, and I gave it a 1 star. The premise was so nice. And then the book just came, and I don't know if you've ever made pancakes and you get that shitty pancake, your first try pancake. And I'm not trying to be mean, but this is how the book read. The book was your first attempt at making pancakes when the pan just heated up. I'm so sorry, I don't want to be mean, but I really dislike this book. The premise is that this girl just died and she's going to heaven, but she did not receive her angel status. So she's somewhere between the heaven and earth spectrum where angels go before they are finally deemed as a good angel, and then they move on to heaven. So there's this layer there, and it's also on the same spectrum as Olympus. I don't know if you guys can remember, or if you've read Percy Jackson, Olympus is kind of like in the skyscraper in the sky, and that's what the feeling gave me. And she also links the angels with the Greek and the Roman gods, so that alone got my interest piqued. And then there was a lot of people saying it was kind of like Fallen from Law and Kate. Someone else also said it gives them the vibe of A Place Called Here by Cecilia Ahern. I've read both of those and I do not agree with that, because what essentially happens is Caroline, our main character, has to reach her angel status to get her wings, but she cannot do that because there's a fallen angel who caused her death because she wasn't supposed to die, and then who is trying to kidnap all the angels. And I don't know what his plan was in the end, just to become the biggest ruler of the angels in the city. But I don't know, there was a lot of telling and not showing, and that really just grated my gears in this book. So I did not enjoy it, and I gave it a 1 star. I saw the average rating is 3.45, so I was like, okay, I do not agree with a lot of the reviewers, but hey, it's just me. The second last book I read was A Court of Frost and Starlight by, Sarah J. Maas. I'm not going to talk a lot about it because I know everyone knows what this book is about, but I reread it last year and I've read it this year again just to get me into the Christmas vibe, and I give it a 3 stars. It's a cute story. It's just, it links The Court of Thorns and Roses series with Nesta's story in a very nice way. So yeah. 3 stars. 3, I maybe make it 3.5, but I don't want to overrate the thing. The last book I read was The Resort by Sarah Goodwin from Avon Books and NetGalley as an ARC. Did I say I received it? I received it as an ARC from Avon Books and NetGalley, and I gave this book a 4 stars. So what this book is about a woman and her husband, and they're going to her sister's wedding. And from the get-go, you get that she really wants to please her sister because of past experiences that happened between her and her sister. Her parents always favored her instead of her sister, and it was this whole situation. So she's making a pain of it to be early for her sister's wedding or the rehearsal dinner and everything. And she's just being a big pain. On their way to the resort, the car breaks down, their GPS fails, and they have no other place to go but this abandoned village in Germany, and there's just a whole series of events happening. They have to ration their food, they need to find a way to start the car and everything, and then that night they go to sleep, and the morning she wakes up and her husband is just missing, and she's left stranded in this abandoned village, and there's someone stalking her and trying to kill her. And this book was very nail-biting, and it was also very hair-raising at some points, but there was a point in time where the book felt like it dragged a bit. I just felt like we needed to get a move on, you know, because it just feels so repetitive and everything. Like, she wakes up, she's trying to survive, and this and that, and it's just chaotic on its own. And then eventually when we get to the 50%, things start getting really interesting. And then we get to the 70% where I figured out who the bad guy was in this whole situation. And I wanted to pat myself on the back because I think I can now earn my detective badge. Yeah, and then it's just a case of waiting for the main character to catch up with you because you know already who it is. But other than that, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Like I say, there were a few times where I was sitting there going, this is very creepy. And then other times where I was like, can we get a move on? That is basically how I felt about that book. But I really loved it. It is kind of like those thrillers that you read for the first time and you're just like, yo, wow. And that's that, because if you reread the thriller, the surprise element is not there. So unfortunately, that's how thrillers work. Unless you have amnesia and you forget completely what happens in most of the thriller books. But yeah, that is going to be it for today. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you've read any of the books that I've mentioned, comment down below how you found them. Did you enjoy them? If you are interested in any of the arcs, have they piqued your interest in my very crappy explaining of what the books are? Would you like to buy some of these books, or would you like to read some of these books? And yeah, I'll see you guys on Friday. Bye.